friends. This is another episode of the program Empire of Lies, in which we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. Eternal Siege, how Russian television portrays the world. Soloviev's recent episodes have increasingly devolved into long lectures about how the West is going to war and how Russia must hold out. It's a mixture of threats to neighbors, celebrations of Putin's patriotism, and conspiracy theories about eternal war. Orban as a target Hungary becomes one of the first topics. Accusations are made from the podium. Ukrainian politicians are threatening Viktor Orban, and if the Ukrainian Armed Forces are defeated, the war will allegedly spread directly to the Carpathians and Hungary. The manipulation is obvious. Instead of discussing Russian aggression, the emphasis is on threats to Europe from Kyiv. Moreover, the hosts utter the fantasy that the Ukrainian army will purge Hungary of anyone who interferes with its defense. For a European viewer, such statements must seem like a caricature. The Ukrainian army is presented not as a victim of war, but almost as a future occupier of Europe. Zombified cities and desecrated shrines. The second block revolves around rhetoric about destroyed Ukrainian cities. They are described as desecrated shrines or zombies that have been bitten. The logic is simple. Territories previously under Kyiv's control are already spoiled and therefore subject to either reconsecration or destruction. This isn't just a play on words, it's a justification for all-out war. This creates a language that makes no distinction between military and peaceful objectives. If a city is desecrated, it can be wiped off the face of the earth. America, a fickle partner. A significant portion of the broadcast is devoted to Donald Trump. He is alternately called a smart guy and criticized for his inconsistency. The main accusation is that America allegedly has no strategic direction. One president goes into Afghanistan, another withdraws troops. One signs a nuclear deal, another cancels it in an hour. From this, the conclusion is drawn: the US is unreliable. Agreements with them are meaningless, unlike Putin or Xi Jinping, who stay in power as long as they want. The cult of Putin. A separate segment of the broadcast is devoted to the praise of Vladimir Putin. The hosts assure that he will rule as long as he wants because he has unprecedented popular support. He is called a brilliant lawyer, a man who respects the law, yet in the same sentence they propose rewriting the constitution if that is necessary to maintain his power. For the European reader, the paradox is obvious. The law, in this logic, exists not to limit power, but as plasticine that can be adapted to the leader. Eternal war as a scenario. Finally, the key theme is heard. The West is allegedly already preparing for a major war against Russia. The broadcast cites Western press publications, takes phrases out of context, and arrives at a single conclusion. Europe will inevitably be drawn into direct conflict. The idea of an eternal war, supposedly invented in Copenhagen, is also heard. According to this logic, Ukraine will always be merely a pawn, and Europe a victim of American plans. Welcome to my lecture. Kyiv has never played fair, just as they don't profit from their sponsors for years. There is an opinion among journalists that the construction of Ukrainian factories in Europe is another money laundering scheme, which could later become expensive as Denmark. At the same time, Zelensky allows himself to dictate, the current Prime Minister of Hungary, whom to listen to, who to buy energy resources from. And Kyiv's hangers-on are brazenly and directly threatening Viktor Orban. Orban is an idiot. Is he playing along with Putin, or is he simply an enemy, and therefore playing along with Putin? If he is an idiot, then like an idiot, he doesn't understand that in case of defeat, the Ukrainian Central Committee will retreat through Transcarpathia. It is clear that the Carpathians will be the line of defense. If this line is not held, then the Ukrainian Armed Forces will retreat to Hungary, partially, of course, to Poland, and and they will resist the Muscovy horde from the territory of Hungary. Of course, then the Ukrainian Armed Forces will destroy in their rear, that is, already in Hungary, everyone. Those who will interfere with this defense. What does this mean for Europe? It's important for European readers to understand. Such programs don't simply inform. They create a worldview in which Russia is surrounded by enemies, where every Ukrainian city is defiled, and Europe itself is a plaything of the United States. This isn't random rhetoric, but rather the preparation of society for a long mobilization, for the idea that war is forever. This is precisely why parallels with religion, reconsecrate cities, zombie metaphors, and the cult of the leader are so common. As a result, war becomes not a matter of politics, but a matter of faith. Propaganda as a weapon. As long as the Kremlin maintains this informational framework, there's no point in expecting a reasonable dialogue. The rhetoric of eternal siege is needed to justify aggression and distract from domestic problems. But it also contains a weakness. The louder they shout about eternal war, the more obvious is the fear of a future where myths cannot conceal reality. This was the Empire of Lies program. See you soon.